Hi students, today we are going to discuss about agency problem. What is meant by agency problem, how it affects the organization growth. Before understanding the agency problem, a simple concept everyone should understand. In case of company, management is done by the board of directors appointed by the shareholders. The equity shareholders are called as the owners of the company. On behalf of the equity shareholders, the business is run by the board of directors. Equity shareholders are called as a principal. Board of directors and the person who run the business on behalf of the equity shareholders are called as an agent. Always the conflict arises between the agent and principal. So again I repeat, principal is called as the shareholders are called as the principal. The board of directors or the person who is managing the business is called as an agent. An agency problem is a conflict of interest between the owner and the person who runs the business. So that is a simple concept. Always problem arises due to decision making power of the board of directors. So I repeat, what is agency problem? An agency problem is a conflict of interest between an agent and a principal, where an agent is a person or group of people who performs tasks on behalf of someone else, that is the principal. Conflict of interest occurs when one party does not fulfill the contractual obligation in favor of their own personal or professional interest. That is the main reason for agency principal conflict. Okay, now we'll see this in detail. The problem between different persons involved in business like shareholders, managers, customers, creditors, etc. are called as an agency problem. Each and everyone involved in the business wants to maximize the profit or maximize their interest. That is one of the important things. This creates a problem between the principal and agent, or we can say that shareholders and board of directors. So this is called agency problem. When an agent act in their own interest, best interest. So board of directors wants to maximize their profit rather than the shareholders' profit interest. This can create a problem between the two. For example, corporate finance manager may act as the agent for stockholder. Do you understand now? Please clear with agent, principal. Agents are called as board of directors are called as the agent. Shareholders are called as the principal. So now, through this example, I will explain agency conflict. Corporate finance manager may act as an agent for stockholders, where their job is to use the money and invest it in the stock that will be the best interest of their client. However, if the stockholders notices unapproved stock purchases without their knowledge, it may speak with agent about that discrepancy and consider hiring a new finance manager. Next. The agency problem, in a simple way, I will explain what is agency problem. The agency problem can be defined as a conflict taking place when agents entrusted with the responsibility of looking after the interest of the principal choose to use the power or authority for the benefits and in corporate finance. It can be explained as a conflict of interest between its management and stockholders. A conflict of interest occurs when responsible people misuse their authority and power for personal benefit. Here, responsible for people means here we refers to board of directors. They were given a power to run the business. When they misuse the authority for the personal benefit, the problem of conflict will arise. However, it can be resolved only if the organizations are willing to fix it. That is one of the important thing. So agency problem, under which circumstance it may happen. A situation in which agents of an organization, example, the management, use their authority for their own benefit rather than that of the principal. That is example shareholders. The agency problem also refers to simple disagreement between agents and principal. For example, publicly traded company board of directors may disagree with the stockholders on how to best invest the company's asset. See, the board of directors' important responsibility is maximize the shareholders' wealth. The shareholders are contributing money to for the development of the business. The implementation power is in the hands of the board of directors. They have to spend time for analyzing which investment proposal gives more profit to the shareholder. That part, when that part is missing, the conflict arises. That's why it's given. Publicly traded company board of directors may disagree with shareholders on how to best invest the company's asset. How to best invest the company asset is one of the important aspects they have to look into. It's especially applies when the board wishes to invest in security that would favor board of members outside the interest. So, when the board of directors are not interested to invest the shares which gives highest profit, that creates a problems between the board of directors and shareholders. So now we'll see what are the types of agency problem arises. Agency problem may arises between executive officer and shareholders. Executive officers are called as an agent, shareholders are called as a principal. Sometimes the problem may arise between the rating agency, credit rating agency, and financial institution. Credit rating agency is called as an agent, financial institutions are called as a principal. Then politicians and voters. Politicians work on behalf of the public. Politicians are called as an agent, voters are called as a principal. So the voters are electing the principal, but the principal is working for their interest rather than the voters' interest. The conflict of interest arises between agent and principal. This is called as a agency conflict. Fund managers and investor. Fund manager is called as an agent, investors are called as a principal. Contractor, that is agent, and individual is called as a principal. So this kind of conflict arises between managers, that is the board of directors, and shareholders. The management of an organization may have goals that are most likely derived to maximize their benefit. On the other hand, organization stakeholders are most likely interested in wealth maximization. This contrast between goals and objectives of the management and stockholders of organization may often become basis for agency problem. So with this diagram, I wanted to explain how agency problems. Here, there are three types of agency problem. Stockholders, creditors, stockholders management, stockholders versus stakeholders. Stakeholders means the people who are directly or indirectly interested in the company affairs. Stockholders means the people who have invested money in the company. Management is nothing but the board of directors. Creditors means the person who supplies raw material or person who supplies money to the company. Next. So here this conflict affect the functioning of an organization. So company can resolve it with the help of some of the measures like offering incentives for good performance and behavior and penalizing for poor performance and bad behavior, tough screening and mechanism. With the help of all these things, they can resolve or reduce the conflict between agent and principal, but completely it cannot be eliminated. So it's clearly given that of course, it is almost impossible for companies to eliminate agency problem, but it can still minimize same implications. Here it is given that how an agency relationship exists. Here shareholders are called as a principal. Shareholders are called as a principal. They are called as the firm's owner. They hire managers, that is the board of directors, because all the shareholders cannot take the management position. So, on behalf of the shareholders, the board of directors will be appointed or board of directors will run the business. So here, the agency relationship is risk-bearing specialist. Principal will bear the risk, but managerial decision-making people will not bear the risk because owners have invested the money, which creates a conflict between the agent and principal. So now we'll see agency relationship. Principal hires an agent, that is, shareholders hires an board of directors to represent their interest. Stockholders, that is, shareholders, principals hire manager agent to run the company. So the conflict between principal and agency is called as the agency problem. The main reason for agency problem are due to the relationship between shareholders and manager and relationship between shareholders and creditors. Managers act according to the management, their own interest, but they neglect the interest of the shareholders, even they neglect the dividend payment to the shareholders. So this affects the interest of the shareholders. Automatically, this will create a problem between shareholders and managers. Now, how to overcome this agency problem? Management should monitor the manager's performance, performance-based incentives to manager, periodically audit financial statement and limit manager's growth, provide shares to manager, that is stock option. All this helps to reduce the problem of agency because when the managers comes to know that their performance is monitored, then any incentive is based on their performance. Definitely, they will work for the growth of the organization. Creditors, another important reason is creditors have fixed the claim on company resources in form of long-term debt and bank loans. So creditors means the people who have supplied money, the company need to pay a fixed percentage of interest for them. So that is also conflict arise. Creditor have fixed return, whereas shareholders have variable return. This creates problem between shareholders and creditors. Sometimes loan covenants creditors restrict dividend payment to the shareholders and getting new debt. That is also one of the reasons for agency problem. These agency problems lead to agency cost and affect the long survival of the firm. So now, just I would like to consolidate everything. What is agency problem? Agency problem is a conflict of interest between an agent and principal, where here agent is a person or group of person who performs a task on behalf of someone else, that is the shareholders. Shareholders are called as a principal. A conflict of interest occurs between when one party does not fulfill the contractual obligation in favor of others. This will affect the professional interest. This is the main reason for agency conflict. This can be avoided with the help of fixing the responsibility, then providing incentive based on the performance. This definitely will reduce the conflict, but completely we cannot eliminate the conflict between the agent and server. Thank you, sir.